Hi everybody, I'm Giancarlo Caltabiano and welcome to Birth to Death Previews. Today we will be doing Hexplore It, which is currently on Kickstarter right now. Check it out. Hexplore It is an epic adventure where players are trying to stop the dead king from plaguing the remaining cities. To start this adventure, each player will create a hero. You will select a race and a role. Here are a few examples of race cards. They have a favorite opponent, racial modifiers, racial abilities, and food rating. Now these are the role mats. You fill the mat with scores modified by the race you selected using the dry erase markers. You can write your character's name, stats, food carried, health, energy, and what is in your backpack. Your starting gold is based on the number of players. The more players, the less gold each player has. Your starting food is equal to 2 times your food rating, shown here. The red stat is your attack and the orange one is your defense. The purple and blue are special masteries assigned to each role, and these cost energy to use. These skills used are usually rolled out of combat after the movement phase. The green is navigation, the yellow is loot find, and the blue is survival and food. Your health ever drops to 0, you die. Your energy is used for masteries, but can also be damaged by certain enemies. Each player also gets a green, yellow, and blue die. Now, to set up the board, place the 4 main tiles any way you choose to create the realm. Place the circumstance and quest bars along the top and bottom of the board, like so. Shuffle both decks respectively and reveal 5 cards from each deck. Place a quest marker on any quest location on the board. Roll the 6-sided die to see which city your group starts in and place the group pawn there. Shuffle the power-up deck and have it ready to the side, and place a pool of unexplored hex tile next to the board. You're now ready to play. Before we go into turn order and phase, let's look at the map. You have your obvious terrain hexes like mountains, water, forest, etc. Now the white icon here are cities and are numbered 1 to 6. The red icon here means there is a boss there, and the higher the number, the harder he will be to defeat. These blue shrines are where you can heal for free, find a new marketplace, or even gain a blessing. And finally, these are ruins. Players can visit these to press their luck, hoping to find adventure and loot. Now let's take a look at the starting city. Here, players can spend gold to buy items listed on the chart. Certain cities have good deals on certain items. You can also upgrade your gear. If you look around, each stat there is the cost to upgrade your gear. If you pay the lowest number there in gold, black it out with the marker and increase that stat by 1. You can spend your gold in the starting city at the start of the game. Now let's take a look at location markers. These are used in various ways to mark things on the map. Hex tiles are placed on cleared area. Quest markers are placed on your current quest location. The red skulls are placed on cities and shrines which have fallen to the dead king. The dead king's marker is where the next target will be. Now the black market is a special market which moves around the board. This is the cave token, which shows up during circumstances. The magical portal is tied to the 8th boss, but we won't spoil that for you. And finally, you have this fortification token that can be used to fortify your home base city. Now let's finally jump into gameplay. The first thing you will do on a player's turn is to move as a group up to 4 hexes. If you land in a city, shrine, or boss location, skip the skill and circumstance phase and go on to the event phase. If you move to an edge, you draw a tile and place it however you choose. Now, you can move cautiously, which is beneficial. To do so, you must move along rivers or roads for the entire move, or only move 1 hex. Doing so allows you to discard a circumstance card that was drawn during the circumstance phase, and also prevents you from getting lost, which is called wandering. After moving, if you did not land on a city, shrine, or boss, you need to roll your skills. Each player must roll their 3 skill dice and try to roll equal to or below their stat. Let's start with navigation. Half the player rounded down must succeed this roll to avoid wandering. Skip this if you moved cautiously. If any player rolls a 1, it is always successful for the group. If you fail as a group, you are wandering and must roll the 6-sided die to see where you wandered off to. Then you check your exploration skill. If you are successful here, you gain 2 gold. If you happen to roll a 1 on this roll, you find a nice place to camp and each hero heals 1 health. Finally, check your survival skill. If you fail this roll, you must consume food equal to your food rating. If anyone rolls a 1 here, each player regains 1 energy or removes an affliction that affects the group. If you start to starve, you will be weaker and eventually die, so stay fed. After rolling the 3 skills, we roll for a circumstance. Roll the d6 to see which one is played. If you rolled a 6, the top of the deck is played. These can be afflictions to the group, encounters, weather, and that good old role-playing adventure stuff. Now for the Dead King's turn. When players are done their turn, they roll a d6 to see if he appears. Now he will appear on the board on a roll of 6. If not, the next time you roll, he will appear on a 5 or 6. And then the next on a 4, 5, or 6, and so on until you roll the number needed for him to appear. If you do, roll to see which city he comes in from and has already destroyed. On the following turns, he will mark U targets and walk towards them at a speed of 2 per turn. As he destroys cities, he gains 1 movement speed each. Beware though, if the Dead King has enough movement to reach the player's group instead of his target, he does so, triggering the final boss battle. Now if he has already destroyed all the cities, the new target becomes the player. There is a way to bring back destroyed cities by claiming a talisman from the shrine and bringing it back to the city, defeating the Dead King's lieutenant there in the process. Now let's take a look at combat. One player will be writing the outcome and numbers of the battle on this battle mat. The players will choose what action they will take: attack, defend, use items, or use a mastery. Then opponents will do the same. These can be encounters, bosses, traps, and other things you would encounter in a regular RPG. To figure out what the encounter's actions will be, roll the 6-sided die. They might attack, use mastery, or even use their special abilities. Here's what an encounter card looks like and its anatomy. Feel free to pause the video to read all the stats. Bosses are similar, but they have 6 different actions depending on what you roll for them. Again, here is the anatomy of a boss card. Once both sides have chosen and rolled their actions, we check the resolution. The enemy will do its action before the players do. Resolve the actions and damage and proceed to a new round until the enemy is defeated. If a hero reaches 0 health and is not healed before the end of the battle, that hero dies. Some races have favored opponents and do more damage to them, and can also re-roll exploding dice to do even more. And once you kill an enemy or boss, of course, you will gain its rewards, the spoils of war. Some rewards are for certain heroes depending on their role, and other rewards are for the group. You might even be able to open the black market, allowing you to buy some extra cool gear. Once this market is opened, it will stay in play and move around the board. Finally, let's look at quests. These were set up at the start of the game. The top corner of each quest will tell you where to place the quest hex on the map and on which terrain or area. The quests range from challenges, escorts, skills, and enemies. When you complete a quest, you can turn them in at cities and each hero will get 1 power-up per quest. Power-up cards increase your stats and feels like you're leveling up. If you feel strong enough as a group to defeat the Dead King, try it and see how this epic story ends. Defeat him and you'll win the game as a group, or fail and be destined to join his undead army. Hexplore also comes with optional rules for quick play, multi-role play, running from battles, giving players mantles, and also having a player play as the Dead King. Yep, that one even comes with its own Dead King deck of cards for the players to use during the game. These are powerful friendship-ruining cards you can't wait to play. We can also see a lot of good gaming inside the box. There can be over 500 different hero race combinations, and the initial setup of the game offers huge replay value. Some of the artwork is really cool, and some of it is unfinished, but so far, we really like what we see. The build-up at the end of the game when the Dead King moves faster than your group is tense, and you're never quite sure if you'll be strong enough to beat him should he rush you. We're going to be looking at this game's progression with a very close eye, and so should you. Go check out their page, linked in our description, and if you like it, back it. Subscribe now to our channel to stay in the loop. If you like our work, help us continue by sharing the channel to your gaming group. Thanks for watching and happy gaming.